The year isn't current. It is a time lost somewhere in the unknown, possibly the 60s or maybe the 90s. Throw away everything you know about reality. It doesn't exist. Or does it? The low camera quality, the late television aesthetic are what sets analog horror. Now, yes, those are some things that can make analog horror, but why does it exist? Who created it? Why is it trending everywhere? In today's video, I will simply discuss everything you need to know about analog horror. Hi, it's me, Fortune. Before we start this video, I want to say hi and thank you for everything that you give me on this channel. I'm going to be trying to upload more in 2023. I can't promise as I did last year, but we'll see what happens and where it goes. But anyways, I hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you do, smack a like, subscribe, share it maybe on any of your favorite social media platforms. But I have been this Fortune. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. See you guys whenever I upload again. Peace. The creation of analog horror dates back to the 2010, and it isn't exact who created analog horror, as I tried and could not find much about the beginning of analog horror. So if anyone could help me with that in the link in the description, that'd be awesome. But what we can say is that Chris Straub, sorry if I butchered that name wrong, was his creation of Local 58 starting back in 2015 was definitely a huge start to the popularization of this genre. This would lead to other creations like the Backrooms, the Mandela Catalog, which I'll talk about later, and the Walton Files. I personally do not make analog horror, but what we can say is that there's a common theme in many of these, including government, television, and main scary or hidden anomalies. Now, I don't know if these are required for analog horror, but what we can state from what we can pull from many different other analog horrors is that these three shows are perfect examples of that, and they all conclude with those items. These analog horror films are shown through old artifacts such as VHS, TV, or a broadcast/radio. They all create a story that isn't told directly but mainly left for the audience to run their imagination wild, and that's what these creators want. These stories can set you as the character, which does add more of a mystery value to these type of horrors, but it's different than others. They add aspects of psychological and progressive horror to build fear within the viewer. As in many analog horror videos, the jump factor isn't very common, but when there is one, it's good. But one thing that is very good in these is the fear factor. The feeling of something watching you, not being able to sleep because of something in the corner of your room, the silence late at night, whatever that factor is that makes you immediately respond to flight or fight is what these analog horror videos want. I feel like there isn't a right answer to this. I feel like that's my answer though. Not having one specific answer. Analog horror hits everyone in a different way, and when you make horror diverse, that's what scares everyone. Everyone has their own fears, and that could be fear of the dark, spider, the oceans, or simply the unknown. That's what analog horror is, so it's everything. From you having the thought thinking you're not supposed to watch this like you'll get in trouble, or the feeling of this being reality, or simply just the feeling of nostalgia can be terrifying to a lot of people. I talk about that in my Ana Moya video, you can check out my channel as well. The feeling of watching this through a VHS tape can make everything a lot scarier, and you wouldn't normally think that. What concludes in these horror videos as well are pictures that aren't normal. They're altered pictures of what, quote, reality should look like, but in their universe, this is just normal survival. A great example to dive deeper into is a series called the Mandela Catalog. This was created by Alex Kister in 2021 and is a 13-episode VHS series that includes religion, making this a lot more disturbing for the viewers. The story talks about the overturning of Lucifer, or the Antichrist, where he takes over the workers of God, which creates these things called alternatives. These alternatives are figures that appear to be something they aren't, as in the first episode, a demon fools the shepherds into that he is God.
Do not be afraid, my dear shepherds. I have great news. I am your true savior. I know everything about what makes you human. I know what you love. I know what you dread.
This would be the setup of the story, as it would pick up in the 90s with two characters, Caesar and Mark. We follow through our journey with their alternative world. In one of the episodes, we find out different alternatives: doppelgangers, detectables, and intruders. That's the plot. I won't get to the full story of the video, as a YouTuber named Wowman makes an excellent video talking about the entire story, which will be linked in the description. From this setup, we can pinpoint a few things: religion, the unknown meaning of the alternatives, two main characters, and a deeper access point. I only went over the basic spark notes of this amazing story created by Kistler, but I definitely recommend watching this whole series if you have the time to do so. But as stated in this series, it includes the VHS look, which is a great thing to add in analog horror. They have the year set from BC to the 90s, and they add a religious history, which can be a sensitive topic, but they make it work. And personally, to me, I think religion inside horror movies can either be downright cringe or disturbing as hell. I also want to point out a sentence in this story that sticks out a sore thumb. Who have I been praying to all this time? That sentence stuck with me so hard when one of the characters finds out that Christianity has been a lie this whole time and goes insane. I definitely want to say thanks to Pastras, sorry if I butchered your name, video. He goes into full depth about the sentence and definitely got me more hooked onto the Mandela catalog and analog horror itself. So if you've been on social media recently, you've probably seen these following clips on social media, like TikTok, mainly.
Alright, so one last thing I want to ask before I go. I was talking to another spirit here named Susie, and she mentioned something about someone in a bunny suit. Does that sound familiar to you? Gabriel, are you still there?
Get out.
Get out? Why? Why do you want me to leave, Gabriel?
Get out.
Get out.
Have I said something to upset
you?
TikTok is probably the reason why analog has been getting so popular. And while this is probably simple just because of the attention span of teenagers, including myself, is like 30 seconds long. And since these are short films, some of the best parts or the scariest parts are 30 seconds long, reeling more people in to find out what the hell they just watched. It's scary, it's disturbing, it's cool. It leads viewers to find out this mystery. Do they watch for the clues? Do they want to be scared? Well, whatever the reason it is, it's working. YouTubers like Wendigoon dive deeper into these series and make the viewer process less confusing, and they kind of take it as a detective. Once one mystery is solved, or once one analog series is discovered, they move on to another case, like a detective. And again, as it gets popular, we'll never really know why analog gets popular. Just like any other horror, they get popular either because a big movie or one influencer talks about it, but whatever the reason that analog gets popular will be to each its own. All I can say is I'm not going to be complaining if I see it on my For You page. I think it's cool. I think it's different, and it's disturbing. I've definitely had nightmares from some of these analog horror things, and I bet you have as well. Again, this is just simply talking about the innards of analog horror, and I bet there are a lot of different YouTubers that make excellent videos on analog horror and analog films itself. All of my sources will be linked at top of the descriptions, as well with YouTubers' videos and any other sources I have. I have been Fortune. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on understanding analog horror.